Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the Forrester guest house, Ridge tells Taylor that he's sorry, but he can't marry her. Taylor rightly suppositions that, as usual, he's realized he wants to spend his life with Brooke. In the main office at Forrester Creations, Thomas confidently proclaims that Brooke is Ridge's history. She needs to back off. In case she would forgotten since the last time they had this discussion, Thomas details how important his family has suffered due to Brooke's hindrance. He is sure she'd betray her way back into his pater's arms, but she lost, and his mama won. For good this time. Brooke informs poor, deluded Thomas that he simply does not understand. She and Ridge participated a magical moment in Italy he allowed. He'd lost her ever. Unimpressed, Thomas shrugs that his father is a good man, but he's marrying Taylor. She'll be his woman. He's sure they're picking the marriage date as they speak. At that veritably moment, Taylor masochistically informs Ridge that she wouldn't let him go without a fight. Condemning Brooke and Eric rather than the man himself, she implores him not to let them pull them piecemeal again. For some reason, Taylor simply cannot believe that Ridge would accept her offer, only to turn around and call it off because of Brooke. She rants, "No. I wouldn't let you do that, Ridge." Ridge tries some mumbled solace, but Taylor grows further agitated, averring that Brooke will fail him again. She's poisonous. Swiping gashes, Taylor declares she wouldn't be his life raft between disasters with Brooke. This is their time, and Thomas and Steffi's. "I'm not going to let you leave us again. Not for Brooke." In Forrester's design office, Will altruistically tells his mama it's tough keeping a secret from Electra when he thinks about that riddle girl he slept with. He wants to come clean. Katie huffs that this youthful woman needs to take responsibility for what she did. Will doesn't know who it was he allowed. It was Electra because of the mask. Katie is thankful Will can talk to her about his coitus life, not weird at each, and they go over how he allowed. It was Electra for the umpteenth time. He wants to tell his gal the verity, but she might be worried Will questions what kind of man he's if he doesn't tell the verity, and Katie, in a cringe-why moment of possible boding, suggests Will let that night stay in his once nothing is going to come of it. At Lee's place, she finds Luna daydreaming and rightly suppositions she's thinking about Will Spencer. Luna irks her aunt/grandmother by suggesting she could have a future with Bill's son. Lee's eyes roll to high heaven as she informs Luna that he's off limits and will have no part of her in any way. She needs to rein in her destructive impulses. Luna's chuffed that Lee cares. "Is this your way of saying you love me?" she asks. Lee stops short of getting soppy, but tells Luna she's family and she was short-changed by Poppy. However, it depends on what she does now, if she's ever to be a part of Finn's life. As single-inclined as ever, Luna leers that effects with Will may still go her way. Lee wants an explanation, but none is forthcoming. Lee announces that Luna is going to get 2 jobs and show everyone she's not like her squinched-up mama. Suddenly, she has to go out again, and Luna is left to talk to herself. "However, I wouldn't have to work, Grandma, if I come a Spencer." Opening a hole, Luna eyeballs the gestation test box hopefully and flashes back to violating Will. Walking across her substantially messy room, Luna pulls out Electra's discarded mask, snaps a snap, and textbooks it to him. Will is rattled by the textbook of the mask with the words, "Our secret." Back at Lee's place, Luna fondles the gestation test tackle with an intimidating grin. Electra is bound to get suspicious. Plus, Liam refuses to give up on reuniting his family. Katie and Brooke will help Rana with that. Rana might indeed get involved in Katie and Brooke's non-stop discussion about Ridge and Taylor. Indeed, though Ridge remains married to Taylor, his heart easily still beats for Brooke. Meanwhile, Taylor will keep pushing for an immediate marriage date. She might indeed get Thomas help with that. Liam isn't going to give up on Hope. Ivy and Deacon have both tried to talk to Hope about giving Liam an alternate chance. Still, she's formally engaged to Carter. Since Hope is formally torn about Liam, it sounds like Carter could end up with a broken heart again. Sheila continued to get scarified by Luna visions. The youthful woman is determined to force a future with Will. The gestation test was negative, but could Luna fake a baby anyway? There's also Electra, who'll probably start to get suspicious of Will. As his flashbacks continue, he wouldn't be suitable to just forget about the Riddle girl. At some point, Luna is going to make her big move and let Will know she's alive. She wouldn't get the ending that she's looking for. Of course, Electra will fully misconstrue effects, and assume Will consciously cheated on her, when it was actually a drugging and assault. As Sheila gets more concerned, she's going to have to fill in Lee at some point. Sheila has a lot further intel on what Luna is over to than Lee. There comes a point in time where someone is no longer reparable. It seems enough clear that Luna hasn't learned a darn thing. Taylor to suggest they get wedded right down. Eric continues to push Ridge to reunite with Brooke. Thomas has come back to Los Angeles. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like effects are going well for the youthful man. While drooling with Ridge, Thomas mentioned that Paris was gone, which is connected to Grace crime. Also, he said Douglas was always busy with musketeers, and his designs weren't attached to any fashion line. That's why Thomas is on a charge to make sure Ridge marries Taylor. Still, Ridge admitted being bothered about him. I'm as well. Thomas doesn't have anything to fixate on in his life right now, so she's concentrated on Ridge. Generally leads to preoccupation and also manipulative schemes. Thomas might advise his mama that Brooke is still trying to get her hooks back into Ridge. The psychiatrist is thrilled that she's marrying Ridge. She was also surprised that Lee didn't know about it. Lee covered, but after that converse, Taylor will make a decision. The woman wants an immediate marriage date. Eric will continue to intrude in his overgrown son's love life. The primogenitor will have a converse with Ridge, where Thomas and Steffi wishes are brought up. While Ridge doesn't want to fail his kiddies, Eric urges him to reunite with Brooke. With so important pressure, what will Ridge do? Does he continue to marry Taylor, or will he ultimately end up back with Brooke? There's also the issue with Luna. Thankfully, her gestation test was negative. Still, she's taking a runner from Sheila Pagebook and is going to force her fantasy to come true. What does she have planned next, and what does this mean for Will and Electra future? Luna gets her gestation test result. Thomas is hopeless to reunite his parents. It's also mentioned that Paris is gone. Thomas continues to lecture Ridge about Taylor and Brooke. Eventually, Thomas shows his pater. A tabloid print. It's of him passionately kissing Brooke after saving her life. Ridge says she nearly failed, he'd to save her life. Did you have to kiss her? Thomas says the whole family is counting on Ridge not to break Mama's heart again. Thomas needs this right now. What does he mean by that? Thomas says that he and Steffi have awaited for times for this to be. Thomas is back and is going to make sure that Brooke doesn't wriggle her way back into Ridge's life. The content turns to Paris. The youthful woman really hurt Thomas. He doesn't want to ruin Taylor's marriage vibe by laying all that on her. Thomas harangues about what Paris' family did to Liam. Thomas has no woman, and no career. He's designing, but it's not tied to any fashion line. Thomas warns his family not to squinch this up, because he wouldn't be suitable to handle it. Paris is gone and he's not working. Douglas is always with his musketeers or his practice. He needs Ridge to make this be. Taylor's broken heart pattern keeps being brought up. Ridge is upset about Thomas's despair. That's what he was like ahead. Is he okay? Thomas assures his father he's forfeiture. Brooke and Katie are agitating work at the office. Brooke brings up Ridge saving her. Still, conduct count further than words, Brooke says. Why hasn't he said anything to Taylor? The Golden doesn't understand. Katie thinks Ridge is leading Taylor on, which will just hurt the lady worse. Brooke doesn't covetousness Ridge's situation. The Golden mentions Thomas is back in city. Brooke wants to believe she'll reunite with Ridge, but Thomas will make it insolvable. Katie says that Thomas and Steffi are grown-ups with kiddies of their own to worry about. Katie also thinks that Ridge's kiddies will have to admit that saving Brooke is romantic. The Golden thinks Thomas is talking Ridge out of reuniting with Brooke. Katie says that Ridge needs to leave Taylor now. Lee strolls by in the hallway. The psychiatrist calls the croaker in. They talk about a passion for drug. Taylor asks about her grief for Luna. The croaker. Does Ent want to bandy her? They talk about Steffi and the kiddies. Lee says that spoiling is fine, but tough love is necessary occasionally. Taylor, does Ent suppose the kiddies are at that age where it's necessary yet? Lee suddenly notices the engagement ring. Taylor admits she's engaged to Ridge. Taylor brings up Thomas. Lee asks about the youthful man's former difficulties. They bandy Thomas prostrating his troubles. However, Taylor will be there for her son if he has a reversal. Luna waits for the results of her gestation test. It's negative. Sheila stops by, so Luna hides the gestation test. They talk about Will. Luna's can't stay for Will to find out she's alive. Sheila is encouraging. The grandma tries to reason with the girl. Sheila says that there's no chance for Luna to be with Will. The youthful killer brings up Sheila's bear attack. Luna gets an idea when Sheila says the bear attack was fake. Sheila urges her granddaughter to suppose nicely. Luna says she's not leaving her future in anyone's hands but her own. That will be your biggest mistake, Luna. Sheila reminds Luna of the time she spent behind bars. The grandmother says that Luna needs to be realistic about her freedom. Luna insists she can make anything be. They embrace and Sheila hopes it works out for her. After Sheila leaves, Luna brings out the negative gestation test. Luna is going to make her unborn be with Will.